Hey everybody, this is Bo. We're back in the house again. We got Tim Boetsch. He was the one that was fighting Vladimir. If you guys don't know that, IFL's been catching on fire. The rankings keep climbing higher and higher, and making these fighters into superstars. Tim, thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here, bud.
Hey, listen, man, you got called short notice. How did that happen?
Well, my manager has been talking to me about possibly making a move to the IFL. That was just one of our options. I'd fought on Saturday, and sure enough, there was a chance to get in there. Initially, we weren't going to do it, but that was one of those opportunities that it doesn't come along very often. So we did end up jumping on it. I guess you saw how the fight went.
I mean, you did a pretty good job at 2-day notice. And Vladimir, I just had him on the show, and he was a little caught by surprise.
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody expected him to just walk right through me. But I didn't see it that way. I was going in there fully intent on winning that fight.
Now, you have a background in MMA, and on the Internet, you can't always believe, but it looks like you've got a pretty good resume. Could you go into that a little bit?
Well, my background, I've been a wrestler my whole life. I even coach wrestling still, but got into MMA about a year ago thanks to Mike Sesnolevich. He's my best friend. We went to college together. One day called me up and said, "Why don't you give this a try?" And it was a pretty good fit. I choked my first two guys out in the first round, and then since I turned pro, I've won all my fights by striking, and then this last one was a guillotine choke. So I've been mixing it up pretty good. I've got a bunch of different ways to finish fights, and it's been a lot of fun.
I think the interesting thing here, too, is your first fight against Vladimir, he was definitely not a slouch in any way, shape, or form. His two losses against Rodrowski and Tito were people that a lot of people have lost to. So you were fighting a guy that had world ranking behind him. So you did a great job.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. Whenever that's my thing. Whenever you get a chance to fight somebody tough, it kind of gives you an idea where you stand in the rankings of the MMA world. And when I heard I'd be fighting Vladdy, I was told most guys back down. There was like 5 or 6 other guys that got the call to take this fight, and they backed down from it. But I jumped on a chance, because I wanted to find out where I was at, and I think I did a pretty good job. Definitely held my own. And,
absolutely, and you also got TV exposure.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right there, is put myself on the map with that fight.
And I think the nice thing about the IFL has over a lot of other fighting leagues, it is on regular TV, so other knuckleheads who are sitting home trying to learn about the sport are getting to see you guys up close and personal on a weekly, not really a weekly, but sort of a weekly basis. Every week the fight's on, and you're getting more and more familiar with your styles.
Right. Yeah, the IFL is a great show. I mean, I'm glad that they are able to put it out on cable TV, because like you said, there are a lot of people that aren't willing to pay for, a $60 pay-per-view or whatever they charge nowadays. And it just gives us great exposure, and it was a great opportunity for me.
Well, I think opportunity for everybody. When you got the likes of the Shamrocks, Bass Rutten, Milicich, you've got all the top fighters in the country or in the world right there in the IFL.
Yeah, it's legit. They definitely got a real good program there. They're bringing in a lot of great fighters. It's definitely one of the premier fighting organizations to be associated with.
Now, how did you exactly go through the step? Did the IFL have a list, or were you just on? How did that all work out to get you to that fight?
I got to give all the credit to my manager on that one. Like I said, I'm good friends with Mike Sesnolevich, and he knew that there was an opening on the pit bulls. His manager's Monty Cox. My manager's Monty Cox. Mike thought the fight would be a good fit for me. He talked to Monty and said, "Why don't we get him in there?" So, Monty worked his magic and got the IFL to take me in. So that's how that worked out.
And the IFL does such a good job of bringing in quality fighters on short notice. I mean, the Pitbulls have done it more than a couple times where they brought in people from all over the world to fight, and they do a very good job, just like you did.
Yeah, I think being a team sport, and you got to win 3 out of the 5 fights to advance. You want to make sure you're bringing in quality fighters. You don't want to just throw anybody in there. And I know that Henzo took a look at my record. I'd actually fought one of his students twice before, and he remembered, that I knocked him out both times. So he was excited to get me in there and see what I could do at that level.
And how much visibility did you get from that fight? How many people have knocked on your door and said, hey, we got to talk to this guy?
Actually, things have been going real well. I've got a couple sponsorships already because of that fight, and it's definitely helped my resume out a lot. So that fight was really big for me as far as from a career standpoint.